Ever feel like wrecking stuff? Well, you've come to the right place. Normally, I'm very constructive on this channel. I'm going to destruct a little bit today. So, I decided that I was going to wreck a painting that was already semi-wrecked and try something brand new that I've never tried on camera. I found this painting, which actually, if you really can see, it has some damage to it. But it's a wintry painting and it's got stars in it, which was my requirement for this experiment. Because I had thought, why, when there's so many different ways of having battery operated lighting these days, why don't we incorporate light in our canvas? Now, I know that's certainly not a new idea, but I bought something on Amazon that's called fairy lights. And I thought, why not poke some holes? Yes, this is called an awl. I always want to call it an owl, but it's an awl. I think it's a sort of a thing that bookmakers use to pierce. I don't even know what awls are used for, but they're very sharp and they're very pointy, and I can poke holes in this pretty painting. Because I can't do anything else with this canvas because it's sort of wrecked anyway, but it's already got a hole. So I'm just going to poke more holes. Stay tuned. I will probably do from scratch some original Christmas paintings and then incorporate this if it works. But I didn't want to, do that and go to all that trouble and then find out that this is really not a doable thing. You need something sharp that you can poke holes in the canvas with. You need fairy lights, and you'll need batteries for those lights, some electrical tape, a hot glue stick. And we're going to use some sewing skills tonight. Now, I'm not really much of a crafter, but tonight I am. All right, so basically my method for tonight for this painting, I'm just going to poke a hole wherever I had painted a star. So there's the first two. So basically, I am just, that one, no, that's got wood behind it. It'll be interesting to see like how far in, like that one is very big. The further in you push with an awl, the bigger the hole becomes. So I'm assuming I can kind of stretch them after the fact too, but we will see. I've never done this before, so it's a virgin experience. And it's kind of fun being this destructive and wrecking a canvas, because if this doesn't work, this canvas is going to go in the trash. There we go. Yeah, this is pretty easy. Now, if you're using some other tool, it may not be this easy. I'm not sure. I think that looks good. I can kind of see the camera through the, you won't be able to see me. Anyway, it's my holy canvas. That's step one. Next thing I'm going to do is put batteries in here. I won't bore you with the process of that. So here it is without batteries. Here it is with batteries. Magic, right? Ah! They twinkle! I'm so excited. They twinkle. Sorry, I'm really excitable. They have different... I didn't even realize they have different patterns. I thought it was just like on or off. That is so cool. Doesn't take much to keep me amused. So here's our pretty little wires. Oh, they're so cute. Tangle. Okay, I'm gonna have to pause while I untangle this. Don't get Christmas lights tangled. I do not recommend. I am not a patient person, so I don't know how this happened, but it's annoying as heck. I finally got them untangled, so don't do that. Word to the wise, do not get them tangled. The first thing I'm going to do is, I'm going to put it about there. So, close it up. So instead of gluing it right away, I think I'm just going to tape this here for purposes of, making it stay put where it's going to live. So there it is, just taped for now. I will hot glue it. The other thing I do notice is it's a little fatter than the canvas. So already I'm realizing that this will work better with thicker, like a more raised canvas. So next thing I'm going to do is sew. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to start from near where the wire starts, but I have to get the other end and start working it in and out through these holes and see what happens. So the trick will be to get to the other end of this long wire, and I'm going to be very mindful not to get it tangled again, because that was a really bit of a, see, look, it does tend to tangle. So that is an observation that I will say to you. Arbitrary decision, I'm going to start with that star. It's kind of the lowest one, so it's not, maybe not that arbitrary. So I'm going to try and poke that through. Look at that, it comes through. Just like so. There you go. Looks like a firefly. There's fireflies in the North Pole? Maybe there is. That would be another really cool painting, to make a night painting in the woods with fireflies, because they twinkle. That would be so fun. All right, I digress. Okay, so just like sewing, and I'm going to go, oops, that was on a hole. I'm going to go in the next hole. But like sewing, I have to pull the thread all the way. This is going to be a pain in the butt. So I'm going to be editing a lot of that out of this video. Okay, so basically I'm setting it on my desk and I'm working in this long wire of lights in the first hole. Whoop. And the holes I made are about, seemingly about the right size. So I'll work it in, hopefully you can see this, I think you can. Work it in the one end, and once I get like a bit, I'm going to kind of hold that and work this one through the other one and throw it on the other side of my desk to, you know, keep from getting confused about which end is which and where I'm going. Because this is going to be a process. I did not think this was going to be a long ordeal at all. And as always, I'm being proved wrong, because it's going to take me a while. Reaping the wrath of the tangle. So if I was doing a serious painting, I might be a little more careful right now with, you know, pulling it through the canvas and making the canvas maybe potentially rip a little more. But because this is kind of a first time and it's an experiment, I don't really mind. So the other thing you'll notice is when all is said and done, there's no light on the first one, and I don't like that. So I'm going to pull this back a little bit more so that there's a light right near that hole. And then for now, I'm just going to use that red tape on the back just to tape that wire down in that exact spot, because I don't want like the whole first star to not have a light. It might be good actually just to recommend you get electrical tape, because it does tape pretty well onto the canvas and looks like it's kind of staying. Okay, so basically the rest of the process is just more of the same. I'll, you know, cut out a lot of that and just show you moments that happen along the way, because this is going to be a little tedious. I'm not going to lie. I think it's going to be very tedious. So one thing I've noticed already, if it's all kind of curly and you're getting kinks, if you kind of pull on it like this between your two hands, like so it's a little taut, it kind of straightens it. So it's taking the loopy loops out, and it's the loopy loops I think that are causing it to kink sometimes, like that. So that would, next time I do this, the first thing I'm going to do is get it nice and straight and unwhirligigged. Whirligig is a word my mother liked to use a lot. So you don't want whirligigs, you want nice straight wire. Much easier. Oh, so much easier. Untwirl your wire, people. Untwirl it. I'm just going to sit here and do this and talk to myself, and if I say any little bits of brilliance, I'll put it in the video, and if I sound like a flippin' idiot, I'll take it out. That's my methodology for the night. For some reason I like pushing it through from the left, holding it with my forehead, and pulling it out with my right hand on the right hand side. This actually works really well. If you don't mind looking stupid, using your forehead to hold the canvas upright, this actually works really well. If I laid this on the table, it actually would not work. So see, there's a method, whoops, to my madness. I'll get this mark on my forehead, I know I will. So one thing I know I'm not going to love about this painting is I mean, the lights are cool, but you see all the wire, and so it's going to look kind of stupid. But this is just to see if the light thing works in general. And if it does, great. And then I will design a painting where the wires won't matter. So in other words, design some kind of painting that has silver, first of all, in the design, so the silver wires don't look out of place, and something with lots of texture and lots of line already kind of in the patterns in the design, so that way they won't they won't like jump out at you and like, yeah, the stars are cool, but what are all those silver dashes doing there? I am getting really good at this. It kind of works. It's a little tricky to keep straight what wire is coming from where to where, but I'm certainly speeding up the process. Woohoo! Getting there. Okay, so I skipped a little bit, turned my video off while I kind of finished doing the sewing. And if you'll notice, I kind of got a bit creative with where I wanted them to crisscross. And, you know, some of the holes I actually used twice. Almost looks like constellations. But the interesting thing is, I bought way too long a fairy light thing. And I don't have a clue. There we go. I don't have a clue if I can cut it off, and I'm pretty sure I can't. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of wrap it around in various places and just tape it down in the behind the painting, because I think that the light will kind of show through a little bit. It might depend on the lighting in the room if you put the painting up, but I think the lights will kind of twinkle a little bit through the canvas. So it'll be interesting, and I will do a painting that this will be a part of. And I don't know if it will be the next tutorial. Depends on my time this week, but I will do one, I promise, sometime in the next week or two, to kind of design a painting around this idea as opposed to just sticking them on top of an already done painting. But it's kind of cool. Kind of gives a twinkly star look. There's so many lights, so little time. So I am just going to literally, for the sake of time, just get them down with some of this tape. And I'll probably pause that, because basically I'm just going smushing the wire down and taping it down to the canvas with my mechanical tape. Mechanical tape? Electrical tape. Huh. Some kind of tape. I'll be right back. Okay. Ta-da! And I don't know how well you can see that, but it shows through the canvas in really cool ways. Okay, so that's cool, but you'll see how much of a mess the back looks like, because I just had to like get those down so that people could hang it on the wall. So the last step would be hot gluing that to the canvas, and that's experiment. I don't know if that's going to change the front of the canvas, if you're going to see anything. But I didn't want to just tape this on. Not only that, if I can't just leave that taped on, because you have to access the compartment and the battery and all of that. So that has to be glued. So I'm going to go ahead and plug in my glue stick. Now I'm going to take the tape off the battery pack. Garbage over the, whoop, stuck to my hand. Garbage I hit it. Should have been a basketball star. Not. Let's see if I can hit it twice. And that was with my left hand. Oh, I should have the camera over there. You would have been impressed with that. All right. So I just took the tape off of it. So I'm going to just put some glue on the canvas. Just there. And stick it down really fast. We'll see what happens. I'm not going to do that on camera because I really can't. But it's not rocket science. And I mean, it's going to stay there. It's not going anywhere. And easy to access the batteries and the on-off switch and all of those things. And I don't know if you can see, but it did bulge. Make little bulges. You know, just where the hot glue landed. Maybe if I'd have smooshed it, like pushed down on it really quick and spread it out. But it was like this little serpentine texture that you can see. But you know what? I don't think it would be very noticeable, even if you had this on the wall. So there you go. A Christmassy idea. Or maybe just a wintry idea. I have an idea though. Let's turn the lights off and see what it looks like. So you're going to see how well this video works in the dark. So you won't be able to see the painting now, but you'll be able to see how it lights up. And I got my Christmas lights going on in the background. I think it's cool. But yeah, canvas full of holes. Who knew? Now, again, I may not be the first person that ever came up with this idea. It was the first time I thought of it, so it's my idea. Anyway, thanks so much for being here and putting up with my silliness and all of that. And don't forget to like and subscribe. That really helps. Also, watch time really helps. So help me get there. And I love you guys. Peace and love. Bye.